All right, hello everyone. This is going to be an introduction to limits by graphing. So the first thing I want you to do is pause this video and sketch this graph that you see in front of you. Okay, now that you're back, we're going to talk about some of the properties of the graph. So we can see that the domain is actually all real numbers except for -1. So -1 is not a part of the graph. There is a discontinuity right there. But all the other portions, all the other x values are covered. You see that there is a hole right here at 0, 1, but there's a point right here. So it actually does include that x value of 0. For the range is actually all the y values. So reading the graph from bottom to top, this is going to be all real numbers with no exclusions because everything's covered. In terms of asymptotes, there does appear to be an asymptote at x equals -1 right here. So this is actually an asymptote right there. And then there's also an asymptote over here, which is as x approaches -infinity, y approaches 0. You're getting closer and closer to the x-axis, or y equals 0. Okay. All right, and lastly, we did circle the hole before, but it's right here. We call that a removable discontinuity. So the hole is at 0, 1, at the point 0, 1. Okay, going forward, we're now going to look for a maximum, minimum, increasing and decreasing intervals and end behaviors. So this graph does not have a maximum because it's not bounded above, right? This arrow clues us in. So there is no maximum. There's also no minimum. There is an increasing interval. There's only one. It's right here from 1 to 2. So the way I write that is I'm using inequality notation. So 1 is less than x is less than 2. That's our increasing interval from 1 to 2. And then there are actually 4 decreasing intervals. So from here, so the first decreasing interval is -infinity to -1. The second decreasing interval is from -1 to 0, then picks up again from 0 to 1, and then again from 2 to infinity, right? So those are all 4 decreasing intervals. Lastly, end behavior. I'm going to write this. I'm going to take the end behavior and write it up here because I'm running out of space. So end behavior is as x approaches -infinity, which means as we go further left on the graph, what's happening to y? Well, y is approaching 0. And then as x approaches +infinity, as we go further and further to the right on the graph, y approaches -infinity, right? Because we can see that here, all the way on the left of the graph, we're getting closer to 0, to that asymptote, to y equals 0. And then here on the right side of the graph, as we go right forever, the graph is, the y values are approaching -infinity. They are decreasing. Okay. All right. So last but not least, we'll talk about limits. And that will be in the next video.